Coming up on this Thursday edition of Daybreak, citing a more positive economic outlook, the US Federal Reserve trims its bond-buying stimulus to $75 billion a month from January. The Fed vows to keep short-term rates near zero until unemployment falls below 6.5%. Marking 1 year since President Park's election victory, the presidential office says the administration has focused on policies designed to improve people's livelihoods and made strides on the diplomatic front. The rival parties blame each other for the past year of political deadlock. Plus, Korea strongly protests Japan's latest security strategy, in which Tokyo refers to Korea's Dokdo islets as a territory in dispute and implicitly indicated its will to take the issue to the International Court of Justice. Daybreak begins now.
You're watching Daybreak on Thursday, December 19th. I'm Choi Yusun in Seoul. We start with the U.S. Federal Reserve's decision to reduce by $10 billion its monthly bond buying program beginning in January, citing stronger economic conditions in the U.S. Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke said the central bank will scale back stimulus to $75 billion a month and further taper the pace next year if the economy continues to pick up. To soften the blow on financial markets, the Fed also reiterated its commitment to record-low short-term rates. It will hold its key interest rate near zero well after the jobless rate falls below 6.5%. The announcement comes a little over a month before Bernanke steps down from his post as Fed chairman. Relations between Korea and Japan have taken another step back this week after Tokyo made fresh territorial claims to Korea's Dokdo islets. Our Kim Young-gil has the details.
Korea on Wednesday summoned the deputy chief of the Japanese embassy in Seoul, Takashi Kurai, to protest Japan's renewed claims to Korea's easternmost islets of Dokdo. It comes 1 day after Tokyo released a new national security strategy outline, which places a priority for a resolution to the standoff over the islets which Korea controls. Through Kurai, Korea's foreign ministry protested the fresh claim and demanded that Tokyo delete the Dokdo issue immediately from its security paper. Kurai said he would convey the message to the Japanese government. Seoul's foreign ministry took a strong tone Wednesday in response to the new defense policy paper.
The Japanese government's most recent unjustified claim to Dokdo in the form of a national security strategy raises doubts about Tokyo's sincerity in improving relations between Korea and Japan.
Japan's new defense policy package approved by the cabinet includes a 10-year national security strategy and a 5-year military build-up plan. It defines North Korea's nuclear and missile development programs as major threats and names China as a country trying to change the status quo in Northeast Asia. Japan says its security plan is defensive in nature. Kim Young-gil, Arirang News.
We now turn to the ongoing nationwide rail strike, which the government calls illegal and wants brought to an immediate end. Our Shin Se-min has more.
The government is taking a hardline stance on the nationwide railway strike that has now gone on for 10 full days. Prime Minister Chung Oh-won called out striking railway union members on Wednesday, demanding they return to work as their strike is inconveniencing the public.
The strike is disturbing commuters, and the labor union's practice is leaving the government no choice but to enforce the laws the union is breaking.
Union members continue to demand that the government scrape a plan to establish a new rail operator, something they claim is a first step toward privatization. The strike has crippled railway services nationwide, and cargo trains continue to be hit the hardest. And their operations have been cut virtually in half.
A union of cargo truck drivers, 12,000 strong, said Wednesday that it won't pick up the freight that's not being delivered because of the railway strike. And experts say that if the strike continues, small and medium-sized businesses will soon be faced with supply shortages.
Commuters are already starting to feel the pinch. Korail reduced its number of KTX Express trains by 12% Tuesday, and regular passenger trains are running on their restricted schedules at 60% their normal levels.
Usually there will be trains every hour, but because of the strike, I now have to wait for more than 2 hours for trains.
Since the strike began last Monday, some 8,000 union workers have walked off the job. In that time, about 900 have crossed back across the picket line. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
The Supreme Court has made a landmark ruling that is expected to boost overall pay and benefits for workers here in Korea, while clarifying a long-time gray zone in the country's labor laws. Now, the core was a resolution to the debate over whether regular bonuses should be counted as ordinary wages. Our Paul Lee reports.
The nation's top court has ruled that regular bonuses paid to workers in Korea must now be considered part of ordinary wages. The Supreme Court ruling made by 13 judges is expected to play an important role in how companies recognize ordinary wages for workers across the country. The so-called ordinary wage refers to the basic minimum wage paid to employees, but also acts as a benchmark for calculating certain allowances, such as overtime pay and severance packages. The new guidelines will now incorporate fixed bonuses into the final total of this basic wage, therefore potentially increasing statutory allowances and other benefits. The court clarified that certain fringe welfare benefits, such as holiday bonuses, cannot be viewed as part of standard wages, and that workers can retroactively request unpaid allowances dating back the last 3 years. Major labor unions have welcomed the ruling while expressing hope that the court's decision will change the practice of companies asking employees to work long hours and endure low wages. Korea's business community, however, say they're concerned the ruling will negatively impact the nation's economy due to higher employment costs. The Korea Federation of Small and Medium Business said the new guidelines will cost smaller firms more than $13.6 billion in the short term, with even heavier financial burdens down the line. Meanwhile, the government said it would consult with employers and labor unions to come up with new legislation that would fairly reflect the court's ruling. Paul Yi, Arirang News. If you want the latest news from Korea and around the world,
Return to the negotiation.
President Park Geun-hye planned, given the current circumstances,
on your way to work or at home,
Defense Ministry, the legislature will convene a
tune into Daybreak on Arirang TV.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Tuesday. President Park Geun-hye marks the year to the day of her election win on this Thursday. The presidential office of Cheongwade has hailed her achievements, saying President Park Geun-hye's successes have paved the way for the next 4 years of her term. Senior Presidential Press Secretary Lee Jung-hyun says the administration has focused on policies designed to improve people's livelihoods and made strides on the diplomatic front. The press secretary then referred to the normalization of the inter-Korean industrial complex at Kaesong and the Korean government's timely announcement of its new air defense zone. He also highlighted the strengthening economy under President Park. The rival parties, however, blamed each other for the past year of political deadlock. While the ruling Saenuri Party urged the opposition Democratic Party to stop questioning the legitimacy of President Park's election win, the DP says the past year saw a total absence of politics, lacking any communication with the presidential office. President Park has called for reforms in the education system and the labor market to tackle the rising youth unemployment rate. Speaking at the second meeting of the Presidential Youth Committee Wednesday, President Park emphasized the importance of creating a business ecosystem in which young people can be evaluated for their capabilities rather than for their educational background alone. She urged colleges to give students the skills they need to succeed in the job market and called for early adoption of a system that would allow students to work and study at the same time. Meanwhile, a presidential committee unveiled a package of measures to increase youth employment, including expanding special college admission programs and state scholarships that could allow high school graduates to get jobs first before going to college. The number of mid-sized companies here in Korea saw a sharp increase this year. According to a report released by the Small and Medium Business Administration on Wednesday, the total number of mid-sized companies currently stands at around 2,500, a 76% increase compared to the end of 2012. The administration attributes the jump to the government's new definition of what constitutes a smaller business, which took effect last year. The average mid-sized company in Korea has an annual revenue of $216 million and employs around 400 people. By sector, retail and distributing services made up more than half of the total. The sky is apparently the limit for Korea's mobile technology sector. The government plans to begin testing the next generation 5G mobile technology in 2018 to solidify its position as a global leader in the sector. Yurian has more.
Only a fifth of the global population now has access to the latest mobile network technology, 4G LTE. But Korea is already gearing up to introduce the next generation mobile technology, 5G. The Ministry of Science, ICT and Future Planning on Tuesday announced plans to test the 5G network starting in 2018, with the goal of launching the service by 2020. The 5G wireless network will allow mobile phones to transmit data 1,000 times faster than the current 4G LTE. With the breakthrough technology, Korea is aiming to overtake the U.S. and rise to first place in terms of mobile patent competitiveness. Now, Korea already tops the list in terms of revenue growth from its mobile services. Strategy Analytics on Tuesday said Korea saw its mobile revenue grew by the most of 4% during the July to September period, while that of U.S. grew by 3% and Japan by 1%. The market researcher attributed Korea's rapid revenue growth to the increasing number of people switching to 4G mobile phones. Yurian, Arirang News.
When delivering a child, a natural way is preferred over undergoing a cesarean section, as the latter requires more recovery time for the mother, plus it costs more. But more and more Korean women are opting for C-sections. Our Son Jung-in tells us why.
This is Son Jung, a 38-year-old mother who had her first baby by cesarean section, as she and her doctor were concerned about possible risks during labor.
I felt very weak physically during my pregnancy. I decided to have a C-section as my doctor was worried because of my age and the size of the fetus.
Mothers who are 35 and older are considered to be in an advanced age to deliver a baby. According to statistics, the number of older mothers is growing rapidly in Korea, up from just 8% in 2001 to more than 22% last year. Due to this recent trend, the rate of C-sections is also on the rise, which had seen a gradual decrease over the last 10 years thanks to the government promoting natural births. The change is more noticeable when taking older mothers into consideration. Among mothers 35 and older, the percentage of C-sections jumped to 28% last year from 21% in 2007. It's a choice many patients and their obstetricians are making, largely to avoid medical risks and the possibility of difficult labor. However, some experts say there is no need to be overly concerned.
It's more important for mothers to have a physical checkup prior to their pregnancy to take necessary precautions for a healthy delivery.
They say it's a matter of how well you maintain your physical strength through regular exercise rather than your actual age that makes a difference in the delivery room. Son Jung-in, Arirang News.
The Korean National Ballet's next artistic director, Kang Soo-jin, says her goal during her tenure is to elevate the troupe's status in the international arena. At a press conference on Wednesday, the legendary Korean ballerina, who is currently a principal dancer at the Stuttgart Ballet, said she accepted the position with the hope that she can parlay her successful international career into success for the company. She said teamwork and respect are what's needed to achieve that goal.
I'm very honored and very, very happy and very thankful. It's very important to work teamwork, so I will try my best, not hurry to work to be the best from today to tomorrow. I'll be working with everybody step by step, so please watch us.
She will begin her 3-year term as the head of the National Ballet Company in February and will give her farewell performance as a dancer in 2016. 2 days of clashes between rival factions in South Sudan have left hundreds dead and sparked fears of a civil war. South Sudan's president said a group of soldiers supporting his former vice president, who belongs to a different ethnic group, had tried to take power by force but were defeated. The UN says the violence seems to be largely along ethnic lines, and as many as 20,000 people have taken refuge with the UN mission in the capital, Juba. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says he is deeply concerned about the situation in the country. The U.S. has ordered its citizens to leave South Sudan immediately.
And a good Thursday morning to you all as we kick things off in the KLPGA. Now, of course, with 2013 almost at its end, many say that 2013 was the year of Park In-bi in golf. But now that 2014 is right around the corner, you might say it's going to be the year of Chang Ha-na. Now, the 2013 KLPGA Player of the Year, who won 3 titles this season, was ranked 14th in the latest world rankings, despite the fact that she only competed in the one LPGA competition this year. And with her already winning the China Ladies Open last weekend, she's already starting the new season off on the right foot, as many believe that she can be ranked top 10 next year. Now, in a recent television interview, the 21-year-old golfer stated that she hopes to win 4 titles and win 4 awards in 2014. Now, moving on, the ongoing incident with SK Knights' Aaron Haynes continues as KCC fans are now saying they should boycott all SK Knights games. Now, last week when SK and KCC faced off, Aaron Haynes purposely fouled Kim Moon-gu on a play, which sidelined the rookie. And while the KBL suspended Haynes to 2 games and fined him 5 million won, or roughly $4,700, the fans' outcries led to 3 more games. But apparently that's not enough, as KCC fans are asking people to boycott all the remaining SK Knights games, with some even saying that he should be banned from the league. And speaking of which, let's take a look at some Wednesday night's KBL action as Ulsan Mobis Phoebus cruised past Incheon Itilan Elephants 87-73. And with that, let's take a look at the Seoul SK Knights without Aaron Haynes taking on Anyang KGC. Now going into the game here, first quarter of the game, KGC off to a great start, take a 22-18 lead before SK comes back in the second quarter, outscoring KGC 22-6 as they go into halftime with a 40-28 lead. In the second half of the game, KGC starts rallying back, cuts the deficit to 55-48 going into the fourth quarter before Kim Yoon-tae's 10 points in the fourth helped KGC come all the way back to take this game 70-67. And moving on, let's take a look at the Hyundai Capital Skywalkers take on a Russian Cash Vespid over on Wednesday night's V-League action. Going into the game here, Russian Cash looking for their 3rd win of the season here as both teams go neck and neck in the first set. But thanks to Liberman Algamez's open attacks, Hyundai Capital takes the first set 25-23.
And unfortunately for Russian cash, it's all downhill from here as Hyundai Capital dominates the next two sets 25-19 and 25-19, with Liberman Algamez finishing off with 31 attack points and limits only to 6 errors on the night as Hyundai Capital takes this match 3-0 to move up to second place. And finishing things off, Reuters chose their top 3 sports news of the year, with the top news being Lance Armstrong's confession to PED use. Now, the once legendary cyclist who came out on the Oprah Winfrey Show back in January ambiguously confessed to using PED, leading to him lose all his titles. Meanwhile, coming in second was Oscar Pistorius' alleged murder of his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, followed by Andy Murray becoming the first Brit to win the Wimbledon in 77 years. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Good Thursday morning to you. I'm Lee Ji-hyun with your latest weather forecast. Well, I hope you get to take an advantage of mild winter weather yesterday afternoon because the cold wave is here again. Morning low has dropped to -5 in the Seoul metro area, and other regions are also waking up to a chilly morning today. And of course, gusty winds are making feel even colder than the extra numbers. And it looks like afternoon highs will stay in the negative side in the Seoul metro area. So please be sure to dress in layers, wear mufflers, gloves to stay warm. Well, it snowed a bit in some parts of Seoul overnight, and flake of snow can be seen in the western parts of the nation. But it will just be a light flurry, so no worries there. But down Chungcheongdo and Jeollado might see snowfall of up to 7 centimeters, and 5 to 15 centimeters of snowfall is expected in mountainous regions in Gangwon-do. So please look out for icy patches and slippery roads out there. And the sun will be hiding behind the clouds, so expect to have partly to mostly cloudy day today. And this round of cold snap will drive temperatures well below average across the nation for the remainder of the week. So be sure to cover up from head to toes and stay warm to not to catch a cold. So how cold will it get today? Let's take a closer look at the readings for today. A morning low in Seoul it's starting out at -5, and afternoon high will peak to -2, which is 6 degrees lower than yesterday. And Daegu and Gwangju should climb to 3 and 2 respectively, while Busan climb into 6. Now let's see how other regions are looking. It looks like Jeju should see a high of 5 in the afternoon. Daejeon and Dokdo will reach at 0 and 4, while another freezing morning is in store for Mountain Gyeongang at -12. Now that's all for Korea, and here's the global forecast for viewers around the world. That's all for me at this hour. Enjoy your morning commute and hope you have a wonderful day.
those are the stories we have for you at this hour. Stay with us throughout the day as we bring you the latest headlines.